Have you learned about genre in regards to selling a movie?
Oh, interesting. I went to American Film Market this year to, help promote Cut to the Chase and whatnot, and I learned a lot of interesting things that, like the genre film, obviously is kind of king in that international market kind of thing. I've always struggled with because my movies are romantic comedies. Romantic comedies tend not to really translate into international sales. Comedy is different. Most people who go to romantic comedies, especially foreign, want to see the famous people fall in love. My people are relatively not famous. So, but yeah, the horror films and thrillers and crime are really doing well internationally. Domestically, I feel like it's really about what the response to the movie has been, like at film festivals and whatnot. Like a good movie can get distribution in the States, no matter what genre it is, I think. But if you want to make the money back, international is really the goal.
I'm wondering, when you were at AFM, excuse me, what kind of conversations did you hear? Because sometimes you can pick up really interesting stuff that you can relate to yourself.
Right.
When you're in a lobby, at a reception, something. Anything that was interesting that kind of mirrored the sentiment of all the filmmakers that were there?
I mean, the funny thing about AFM is it's not really for filmmakers at all. Like, there weren't many there. One of the reasons I wanted to go is because I'd never spent a long time there, and because I'm also a producer and I have a production company. I was interested in how it works a little bit more. And I think the most interesting thing to me is how kind of antiquated it is. Like when we talked last time about the 6-month rule, the business was completely different then, right? And like that was 4 years ago. And now digital has totally usurped all the things we were trying to do then. And it was on the cusp then, but like now it is all about this digital distribution, and the DVD companies and the digital companies have now have a system worked out where people are getting paid. Like back then there was a problem with distributors actually paying the filmmakers, and now like there's a system happening again now. AFM seems to have this old school, like huckster kind of like, all right, I got a horror movie over here and I got a religious movie over here. We'll package them. We'll get 5 of these. Da da da. All right, and it's all built on these really old models of like DVD and like here's our territory, and I don't know. It's funny. I don't know how much I learned except for it's just all a shell and peanuts game. Is that shell and peanuts? I don't know. Shell game. Moving the things around and like packaging.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that's something,
Yeah.
and things have changed since we last sat down in so many ways. And I know you did screen both the 6-month rule in LA and New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that something that you plan to do with Cut to the Chase? You're gonna...
Yeah, a little bit different. Cut to the Chase is going to open in New York February 28th, and then we start a run in Shreveport, Louisiana on March 3rd, and then we are here in LA for a big premiere March 6th. So we're really focusing more on these big one-night premiere things, and because we come out on VOD March 7th. So all of this is kind of working as our marketing wraparound to aim at March 7th, whereas 6-month rule, we did about 9 cities across the country. And what I learned from that is spreading yourself thin like that, and then all you're trying to do is sell 1,000 tickets, as opposed to putting it out into the world, and doing one marketing push and getting that one marketing push to everybody and saying, okay, now all of you can watch the movie. I mean, it's just, there's only so much effort and money you can spend, and it's better to spend the money, for me, on like one big marketing push so everyone knows it's out in the world, as opposed to I'm trying to fill a theater in Oklahoma City, which is something we did. We, would go to a city. We kind of did this like kind of like a rock and roll tour, where I would go and do a Q&A afterwards. But then it's like I don't know, 15, 20 people in Oklahoma City. I have to get them to bring their friends, and then we have to do advertising, and then at the end of the day, what happened? I made $800 in Oklahoma City. I probably spent at least that much getting there and marketing it, and to what end? To me, the most important thing now is telling people that we're in theaters, but then saying, get it at home. You know what I mean? It's a different way of looking at it. But yeah, New York for 6-month rule, we did a full week run in New York, and we got there, and I was excited, and it was like gonna be great. And opening night, packed. Everybody I knew in New York, all their friends were there. We had this great party. It went amazing. The next day, it was a beautiful day outside. I think 3 people came to the movie the next day. And it's just like I was just spinning my wheels trying to get people in there, you know? And when the point is letting people in the world buy the movie and telling them about it, you know? You got to get out there and tell them about it or they don't know.
Well, one advantage to you having traveled and done this sort of like, you know, Blayne Weaver, you know, tour was that people got to meet you, and you probably built a good fan base that way, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, it really is like, I feel like the reason I keep getting to make movies is because, not to, it sounds pretentious, but it's a brand kind of thing. Like, it's like, I am my movie. So I go and I meet filmmakers and I do the festival circuit, and I build this community of people who are supportive or interested or even just know who I am. And that leads to an audience for the next film. And like, I love doing that. I love traveling, and you know, there are people that hate hotel life. I am not that guy. I love going and being there for the movie and then talking to people afterwards and getting people's responses. And it's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Yeah, I could see that being your strong suit as well, and I could see that be why people would come out. I know it is hard to that week run is really costly, and it's very hard to get that first night. Sure, it's a party, but once that first night is over, is the real struggle.
Right. So we're sticking for just the one night.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Save some money. We have red carpets at both New York and LA. We can do it more if we only have the one night as opposed to the whole week of, you know, like 6-month rule. I let the distributor at the time talk me into, you know, huge ads in the New York Times. He's like, this is how you open a movie in New York. And I listened, and I'm like, all right, spent a bunch of money to get this full-page ad, you know, for the weekend and the weekend section. And then on Saturday when it's empty, I'm like, you know, I could have spent 1/3 of that money on an ad on IndieWire, you know, that we're in New York. Just letting people know, and here's the pre-sale link to buy the movie. I didn't do that. I was following a model from 20 years ago. And that's what this movie has been for me, is saying, okay, we've done the classic theatrical model. What's wrong with that? What do we need to do today, 2017, to get this movie in as many homes as possible?
Going back to what you said about romantic comedies being tougher to sell overseas, how about cut to the chase? Because some of that comedy that may be lost in the translation of the different languages.
Well, I mean, so far so good. Like, Asia seems to like us. So we've sold a couple of territories, and like, I think that this domestic rollout is going to help that as well. But like, you know, they like the action. They like Lance Henriksen, who plays our big bad guy, and so the response has been really good. I'm just hoping that we can keep the momentum going.